Hi there, and thank you for attending Raise the Roots Live. This is a monthly webinar that we host. It's only 15 minutes long, and the goal is to teach you some tips and tricks on how to get the most out of engaging networks. My name is Brandon, and I'm the owner of Raise the Roots. We are a digital agency that helps nonprofits improve the way that they engage with their supporters, whether that's outsourcing the work, setting up emails, setting up pages, doing queries, and list building, and all the great things that maybe your internal staff doesn't have the abilities or understanding to do. But we also do special projects. So if you wanted to try marketing automations, email templates, maybe even help setting up the hub, and just like end of year support, that kind of thing, we're available for both. So I hope you'll keep us in mind. It's www.weraisetheroots.com. During the webinar, we only have 15 minutes today, especially because we're going to pack a lot of information in about the hub. So if you have any questions, just send them into the comment box. I will answer them on the website after the fact. And you can access this video, this slide deck, and see the answers to any questions that were submitted at www.weraisetheroots.com/live. That's also where you'll find an archive of all the webinars that we've hosted. So today we're just talking about the hub. The hub is a great new resource that the Engaging Networks has released, and it gives your supporters the ability to log into a page and do all sorts of things like update their profile information, see their history of actions they've taken, update the recurring donation, and more. But because it's so unique and it's so complex, this is just going to be an overview. We're going to show you how these things operate and how to set it up. But you want to be thinking creatively about how you could use the hub for your organization. So today we're going to talk about what is the hub, how you can use it to help your supporters update their information themselves instead of contacting donor support, donor services. We're going to talk about how you can use it to acknowledge your supporters' contributions and how you can use it for fundraising. So the question that got submitted the most when people were registering for the conference or for the webinar was, why would I use the hub? And I want to talk about the hub not as one page for your entire Engaging Networks account, because some companies, like some CRMs, do have one hub for all supporters to go to just for that one account in their CRM. But Engaging Networks is allowing you to create individual hub pages. So you could create as many hubs as you want. And on each one, you could offer different types of information to your supporters. So for instance, you could have just a self-service hub where people can update their profile information, update their subscriptions, and that kind of thing. So it's very basic, very simple, and you could offer that at the bottom of your email in the unsubscribe link. You could also offer a hub where if people have recurring donations, they can go in and update their recurring donations so that you could send out a marketing automation letting people know that their recurring donation has suspended. Click this link to access the hub where you can update your recurring donation, like your credit card information, your credit card expiration, etc. Or you could create a hub that you send out at the end of the year to tell people all the ways that they helped your organization. And so you could have a list of their impact, all the actions they've taken, all the donations they've made, and have descriptions of what difference that made on those particular campaigns. So you want to be thinking creatively about how you can take the hub and adapt it into several different pages in order to convey information to your supporters and allow them to update their information. So what is the hub? The hub is a page type in Engaging Networks. It has different gadgets that you can drag onto the page for different types of information that you're either providing or requesting. And it's allowing your supporters to log in, see their information, and update it. So I'll just show you here. This is the page type. So if you're in Page Builder, you're creating a new page just like you usually do. There's a little button there for Supporter Hub. And when you're in the Supporter Hub area setup, you're going to see that there on the right there, they've added some new components. So there's these supporter gadgets. Each gadget, I think they're going to add more gadgets over time, but each gadget is for a particular piece of information. So personal details gadget is to allow you to update your profile information, your address, your name, your email address. Manage subscriptions is exactly what it sounds like. It's an ability to update subscriptions for newsletters, fundraising emails, action emails, and other subscriptions that you offer. My Impact is that people can see the actions they've taken, the fundraising campaigns they've supported, their total actions, their total fundraising, and then you can tell them what the impact was that they had as a result taking those actions. And then Donations Gadget is a place where you can offer up fundraising pages and people can update the recurring information. So we'll go over all of those in detail. These are totally customizable. So if you want to use a template that you already have in Page Builder, you can use that template. You can have 3 rows, 10 rows, 3 columns, 2 columns, as many columns as you want, as many rows as you want. You can customize the little icons that are on the gadget. So here the Spice Girls are on those gadgets. You can also customize the wording there so that those don't make sense to you or your supporters. You can update that. Anything you see on the screen. It's also possible to drag existing components. So you can do text components for code components and image components. Drag those onto the page so that if you feel like it's not descriptive enough or doesn't represent your brand sufficiently, you can drag those on and add as much text or imagery as you want. For your supporter, this is what the user experience is like. So they'll land on your hub page, they'll enter their email address, click on the link, they'll get an email into their regular email address. The email that you see there is totally customizable. You can use your templates, you can add buttons, you can add images, but in the message itself, there will be a link that you can click to access the hub, and then it takes them directly into the hub. There's no usernames, there's no passwords. The idea is to make this as simple as possible. So the first way we're going to talk about how people could use the hub or how organizations can use the hub is as a self-service device. This is allowing people to go in and update their profile information and their subscriptions themselves. It's a very basic version of the hub. So to do this, you have to start by building the page, updating the login, updating the link email that they'll be sent, updating the hub layout so it looks customized the way you want it to look, and then dragging on those gadgets. So we're actually going to go into Engaging Networks, go to Pages, New Page, and Supporter Hub. So it's the same process that you're used to. You have to enter a name, and you don't have to call this the hub just because Engaging Networks calls it the hub. You may call it your profile center, your supporter center, whatever makes sense for you. Just like in any page type, you can select the template that you want to use. And you'll see here that the hub is broken into 3 tabs. There's the login page, there's the hub, and there's the logout page. So in this login page, it's pretty straightforward. It's a place where people can enter their email address. You can edit this. They provide some default text, but if you want to update that, you can. You can also drag a text block onto the page. So if you wanted to have some information here about what this is, what people can do, a bit clearer instructions on how to log in, you can provide that information there. So that is the login page. It's pretty straightforward. You also need to have, under Hub settings, the authorization email. This is the email that's going to go to your supporter with a link in it so that they can access their supporter hub. Keep in mind that you can only create one email for all of your hubs. So this just needs to be not specific to each hub that you create, but to all hubs. And it's just basically going to say, here's the link to access your information. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that when you highlight the section that's going to be linking to the hub, you click this checkbox at the very end. That'll insert a link to the hub. So like I said, you can use a template for this. You can design it. You can make it look really pretty. Have a big button that says Access Supporter Center. But when you do link to the Supporter Center or to the hub, you just want to use this little checkbox. Here's the hub itself, the hub page. As you can see here, they give you some default. You've got like a welcome thing. I think over on the right there's a login button that you can't see there. And here's some different rows. Now you can see that they actually have rows with 3 columns. For those of you who've been using Engaging Networks for a long time, they've only offered rows with no columns, so just basically one column, or 2 columns. They recently added a new row type called Custom Layout. And this allows you to add as many columns as you want, and you can divide the columns by a percentage. So if you want the column on the left to be bigger, smaller, you can do that, which is kind of nice. For the sample where we're just doing a self-service, I'm just going to have a 2-column row because I'm only going to drop in 2 gadgets. So here are the supporter gadgets. You can see all 4 that we just went over. I'm going to drag the personal details gadget onto the page. I'll update it in a second. And then I'll drag on the manage subscriptions gadget. So we'll go into personal details. Again, you can update the icon, you can update the label. And on the content, you'll always have this little preview box on the right. And you can put in here content for the header text. So you might want to have something more descriptive than that. You could have the button text. When people have successfully updated their information, you could have some text there. And then you have failure text, but for some reason, it didn't work. Maybe you have some conditionals on the email and they didn't include an @ symbol, and so it failed. If you want to pick the fields that people can update when they're updating a profile, just click that button and drag them onto the page. So, it's going to be sort of basic email address, first name, last name, address, city, state, etc. Click Save. And now their information, the form fields will be available there. And when they log in, their existing information should be available on this page. Click Save. And now I'll do the Manage Subscriptions gadget. Same thing, you can customize it, some language. Now I'm just going to drop in the subscriptions that I want people to be able to choose from. So I can just drag it onto the page and click Save. You could add as many as you want, but that way you have more options. So maybe there's some opt-ins that are ones that you use internally. They're not necessarily public-facing opt-ins. You can choose to exclude those and only have the options that you want people to see. If you're creating a hub that's only for one group of supporters and there's a specific opt-ins for those supporters, you can just drop on those opt-in fields. It's very customizable that way. Keep in mind you can still drag on text blocks here, so you can design this, make it look however you want. And on the logout page, this is just basically a page where people are going to land after they click logout. So you can add a text block here and say, thank you for updating your information. If you have any questions, email us or call us or whatever. But yeah, so that's how you create a simple self-service page for your supporters. And the process is very similar across all the other gadgets as well. Acknowledging contributions. So you may have seen throughout Engaging Networks this new little sort of like symbol, and those are on all of your donation pages and your advocacy pages. And what that basically allows you to do is to say to the hub, this page is available for people. So there's a gadget called My Impact Gadget. When people go into the hub and they click on the My Impact Gadget, they're going to see all of the action pages and donation pages they've completed, and only the ones that you've sort of given the thumbs up to. So there may be some action pages, maybe like a data capture page or something that you don't necessarily want to show on that My Impact Gadget. So you can select the ones that make the most sense. And when you click on that little thumbs up, Engaging Networks is going to prompt you to describe to people how they're completing this particular petition or this fundraising campaign contributed to the overall goals of the organization. So if you have an action alert asking people to send a letter to the legislature in support of a piece of legislation, and then that bill passes, this would be a great place to tell people, we passed this chamber, or it was signed by the president. It gives you that kind of flexibility to give feedback to your supporters. Thank you for donating to this campaign. As a result, we were able to send X number of supplies to Puerto Rico. So it gives you that option to give that positive feedback to your supporters. And this is a great way to set up a page for end of year where people can land on the page, see all the actions they've taken, all the pages they've supported, and then how that actually helped your organization achieve its goals. So this is what the My Impact Gadget looks like. So you have some text here. This is sort of that you can see in the preview there. This is what comes with Engaging Networks. I would recommend updating it. And then below that will be the list of actions they've taken. So here's an action alert that I gave the thumbs up to. And if people click on that, they'll see this little description that says, thank you for doing this. It passed the House of Representatives, and now we're waiting for a review in the Senate. So that gives them some feedback on the action they took, how it helped advance this goal. You can also customize it to show the number of actions. So if you only want to show 10 instead of all of the actions that they've completed, you can do that. You can have some action copy there that tells them the total number of actions that they've completed. and how much total money they've helped you raise. And then there's some copy here if they've never taken an action, just kind of telling them, there's nothing here because you haven't taken a previous action. Please visit our website to take action on something. So that's the My Impact Gadget, and that's how you can acknowledge people's contributions. Next, we're going to talk about the fundraising gadget. So the donations gadget is something you just drag onto the page, just like the My Impact, the subscriptions, and the profile information. And it's a little more complicated, but basically what Engaging Networks is looking to do is when your donor logs into the hub, it's going to look to see if they've made donations previously. So it's basically assigning a state to these supporters. Are they making recurring gifts? Have they only made single gifts? Have they never made a gift at all? If they make a recurring gift, is it still active or has it become inactive? And then based on those states, you can show that supporter different information. So here you have, for the donation state, no donations yet. So you can click on the edit button and select a donation page and have some text there that it encourages them to give and explains how their gift can help the organization's goal. If they've only made a single gift, you can suggest a recurring gift. And so you can push your recurring donation form to them and explain how recurring donation helps the mission of the organization, it reduces administrative costs, etc. If they have a recurring gift, you can also offer a recurring upsell. So based on certain rules that you set, if they're currently giving $50 or less, you can suggest an upsell of 10%. If they're giving $50 up to $100, you can offer a 20% upsell option. It gives you some options to update recurring donations. They can update their existing recurring donation here, their credit card, their address, but also the amount, which is nice. And then if they have an inactive recurring gift, meaning that it's become suspended or they paused it, they can also edit that so they can update their expiration date. If you have a payment gateway that's well integrated with Engaging Networks, they can also update their credit card number. So those payment gateways are PayPal, PayFlow Pro, PaySafe, and Vantiv. Any other payment gateway, they're only going to be able to update their expiration date and their address and their name. What fields are on those pages are up to you. You can just drag on the fields that you want people to see. You just need to make sure the information there is what works with your payment gateway. So that's the donations gadget. And that is, this donation state's a little bit closer up. So that is it. That's 15 minutes. That's an overview of the hub. And I would say that pretty much covers everything, but you can customize it. You can have as many gadgets on the page as you want. You can have fewer, more. There's really a lot of flexibility there. So I encourage you to go in, explore the hub, see how it might be useful for your organization, and to think about it as perhaps creating multiple hubs for multiple objectives. Thank you for attending and have a great day.